Hello, Wolfpack. We've got three pretty big things coming up in the next week, okay? So first and foremost, we have the executive order on cryptocurrency for Joe Biden is going to be deciding the terms of which basically regulation of cryptocurrency can take place within the United States, and that's coming within this week. We also have CPI numbers releasing on Friday, and then we also have the interest rates decision on the 15th of March. So, straight off the bat, three absolutely massive events, all three of them have the potential alone to change the market direction, okay, in the short term, and three of them together could potentially lead to terrible price action or good price action. There's no real way to know what the effect of these things are going to be on the market. I would say it would be negative. Okay, I've been saying that for ages. Not really too hard to understand, really. I mean, high inflation's not good for crypto. Every time the CPI numbers release higher than normal, we see a dump, right? That's not a unique thing. That's not me speculating. I mean, the very top of this bull market, right? The very peak of this bull market was actually placed on the same day as the CPI numbers were released, okay? And that led to the top, essentially. We saw kind of a build up to the CPI numbers, a bit of a pump, and then obviously we dropped down after they were released, and so that was the top of the market. And so it's a negative thing decisively, CPI numbers being high. Interest rates going higher, I would say it's a negative thing as well for the traditional markets, and it's good for the DXY, and if it's good for the DXY, generally means that's bad for crypto. And executive order, well, I mean, that could be terrible. Right, I mean, this is coming from a person, again, I'm not political, I'm not being political on this channel, but this person literally doesn't understand, Joe Biden doesn't understand what causes inflation, evidently. I mean, in his State of the Union address, he genuinely, avoided the topic of inflation. And instead of saying, we need to fight inflation by doing things like lowering wages, raising interest rates, doing all of the useful things, he said we need to basically spend more money, which is the opposite of what inflation needs. We don't need to spend more money. That's going to cause printing of more money, which is going to cause more inflation. So it's a general lack of knowledge. And that's not just exclusive to Joe Biden. That's exclusive to the entire system, regardless of what party you're in. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of understanding. And it's a lack of care, to be honest. It's just all about power. And with that, there could be a very detrimental decision for cryptocurrency. Okay, especially given the fact traditional markets are dumping, especially given the fact that, there is a fear amongst, as you guys would be aware of people in cryptocurrency, there is a fear that has never really been there before that crypto could be the next big thing. As we are seeing in Russia and Ukraine, people flocking to things like cryptocurrency because they can't hold value in their fiat currencies, and also they can't even withdraw the money if they wanted to, and they're being cut off by their banks, etc. Right? So we're seeing the real world utility of cryptocurrency in a crisis type situation. And that scares the central banks, that scares governments, because if they don't have control over the monetary system, they lose power. Right? It's as simple as that. Every single civil right that you have means nothing if you don't have control over your money. Okay? And the government controls your money. Okay? So it's very straightforward, but essentially what I'm saying is, in the next week, in the next 7 days or 8 days, it should be 8 days actually, but I'll just say within the next week, three massive decisions coming up, and I want to say that if you see a bullish divergence on the hourly chart, like we see here, okay, a bullish divergence on the hourly chart, do you think that really matters right now? Do you think that really matters right now? Look at what we've got coming up. Interest rate decision. Interest rates haven't been risen since 2018. They're at the lowest rate they've ever been at before. Inflation is at the highest rate it's been at in 40 years. And an executive order on cryptocurrency from Joe Biden, a person who clearly has zero knowledge on the financial system. Okay? Do you think that this bullish divergence is going to save us? I know a lot of people wouldn't, but I'm just saying, it's comical. It's absolutely comical to see people on Twitter posting, 1 hour charts right now. At the very minimum you should be looking at is the daily chart. Okay? But, even TA in general is a little bit iffy right now, because everything I'm analyzing right now, in regards to everything I'm doing, could be invalidated so easily by these three events combined. Just want to get that known out there. And so it's definitely a rough time to be in the market, rough time to be predicting things. But that's what's going on here. And just getting into the TA briefly, we may as well. I'm just covering what I covered a few days ago. We're in a bearish bat formation, which is a harmonic pattern that generally leads to a breakdown to the angle between A and C, which is going to be at around 35k. We're heading down towards that. We predicted that at 45k. We're currently at 37. We were down at about 37 flat this morning. And so it's worked out pretty well so far since the original prediction. We're basically down 20% since the original negative prediction. So that's a good job for the Wolfpack there. Another loss avoided, which is great to see. And then, yeah, I do expect the downside to 35k. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of relief beforehand. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens right now, given the fact that this week is so massive. There's definitely going to be some irrational price action around the corner. It's kind of hard to predict when you're going into things like this. On this daily candle, which closes in 11 minutes, we've rejected off this pink line again. We've also rejected off the green support box. I would say that is bearish. Yes, we do have a bullish divergence on the 1 hour. We could swing back up. We could do something. We could even break. We could even break and go to the upside and say, for example, let's find some resistance here and go to the resistance at about 41k before rejecting. I don't think the break's going to lead to anything. I think we're going to crash back down. I would say that it's unlikely that we break just due to the fact that, well, there is a bullish divergence, it's undeniable, but I would say that this is a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, and for that reason, I would say that it's probably more likely that we break down. However, it is worth noting that the neckline of this head and shoulders pattern is currently sitting at around the current prices. So you could say it's probably around 37k flat. All right, we've just tested the neckline and we've seen a little bounce off the neckline. So it's hard to kind of say what's going to happen in the short term here, but ultimately I don't think it's going to equate to much. All it will do, in my opinion, is delay whatever's going to happen by a few days. So short term, it's a little bit hard to predict. We've got a head and shoulders pattern, but we've bounced off a neckline, bullish divergence coming through there. So, hard to predict what's going to happen there in the short term. But longer term, this bearish bat formation is the most logical formation we're seeing. We're also seeing some sort of, you could say it's some sort of another uptrending level of support here that we're holding right now on this daily candle. And you could even say it's an ascending triangle. I wouldn't say that. You could say it's an ascending wedge as well, which I've seen quite a few times. I wouldn't say that either. And so for this reason, I'm just going to stick with the bearish bat formation. I think that's the most likely formation here on Bitcoin. The total cryptocurrency market cap, again, the daily candle closes in 10 minutes. So we're not really sure what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes here. But the total cryptocurrency market cap is basically just holding on to the line here with this uptrending major level of support coming through from January 2021 through June, through July, and through January this year, and then we're testing it right now. If we close a couple of candles below this, I would expect this red scenario to play out. And even if we see one more swing to the upside, I would still expect something like this red scenario to play out. I think we're going to be breaking down here on the total cryptocurrency market cap. And if we lose that major support line, that's not going to be something we can recover. That's going to be a major hit to the long-term structure. And it's definitely going to lead to bear market prices. I mean, we're already in bear market prices, but it's definitely going to lead to much lower prices, probably below 30k. All right, so it's very much as simple as that. But the point of the video really is to outline these three decisions that are coming up in the next week, and to say that everything I just looked at in regards to the TA, it's all well and good, but these decisions have way more weight. All right, and so this next week is going to be filled with irrational price action, and I think the best thing that you can do is stay away from the market until it all settles down. Right? I don't like trading major news events. I don't like trading any of that because I've seen it happen with my own eyes. I mean, look what happened. All you need to do is look what happened at the top here in November, okay? This was the top, this day here, okay? I remember watching this, and I could zoom in on the chart if I wanted to. Matter of fact, let's just do it. It's going to take a while to come back here, but let's just do it, and I'll show you. There is clear irrational price action that takes place in these periods of time. Okay, so we're in November here. We're on the hourly chart in November. This is the top of the market. Okay, so we looked terrible. We looked terrible here. We were trending downwards, okay? And then all of a sudden, the CPI numbers released here, okay, at midnight in Australia. The CPI numbers released. We pumped in 1 hour from 66k all the way to 69k. That's a massive pump. And then, out of nowhere, we dropped within 3 hours from 69k all the way down, much lower from where we came on to 62k. We dumped 10% in a few hours after a 5% pump. That just shows you the kind of irrational price action that goes on when these major events happen. And keep in mind, that's only one event. That was only the CPI numbers. We have 3 major events coming up, two of which are more important than CPI numbers. So, very important time in the market. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. I wouldn't be entering anything right now. That's my personal opinion. Now, you can do whatever you want, but that's what I'm seeing right now. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.